Ooh.
like a treehouse beer.
It's good.
I don't know if it's water or what that they have there, but like there's something
It's
that
fancy.
makes like these northern eastern beers taste a certain way. I might get a can of it.
It's all the history.
All right, you wanna press record and we can test our levels.
Already did.
All right,
Great.
how's it going, everyone? So I was thinking I could be like Count Dracula in the beginning.
Yes.
Okay.
Go for
I
it.
don't know how he sounds though. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Nope. That's
more
Santa
like
Claus.
Count Chocula.
That's Santa Claus.
Count Chocolate.
You have to put a lot of V's in where there's W's.
How's it going, everyone?
No, you can say welcome.
Welcome.
What accent is that? That's,
Transylvanian.
yeah, but it's like
Is that an actual country?
Yes.
No.
It's in the Eastern
I
Europe.
think it is.
It
actually.
is.
Transylvania.
Yeah,
no,
Transylvania
I
is
think it
real.
is, actually.
No, what?
Welcome, everyone.
You're almost German.
I'll look it up on.
Make
Google
it a little bit more. Lean towards the Polish side. Go a little Russian.
Welcome.
Yep.
Welcome, everyone.
To a
Can you,
very special, precisely
Yeah,
podcast.
No, can you give me yours?
Me.
Yeah, say it.
Welcome.
Yeah,
No, Transylvania's in Romania.
Yeah, Eastern Europe.
yeah, but still
Yeah,
plays.
but it's
But
not
it was a country. It was.
I don't believe you.
Was.
No offense.
Welcome, everyone, to this very special. I sound insane.
Spooky special.
Spooky. Very spooky special. I don't even think it's
And then
gonna be
after
that
you're done,
spooky.
you have to be like, there's 1, 2, 3
Oh my God.
hosts.
Do you just, I mean, do you want to just do this beginning? I feel like you could.
I
I
could.
feel like you could kill it better than I could.
All right. Okay. I can do
I'll
that.
I'll be Count Chocula.
Yeah,
and
you be
can
Count Chocula.
You can be
He
Count
can
Dracula.
be Blueberry.
What does Blueberry sound like?
I don't think he has a voice. I don't know. I have no idea.
Perfect.
Well, it was better than Frankenberry. I don't know. He's still over there looking up if Transylvania was a country.
Dude, I'm on Wikipedia.
Looking up the history of
It's getting
Transylvania.
serious.
Welcome. No, I can't do it.
You're too harsh with it. You've gotta you've sipped a fine glass of
Blood.
I'm definitely sipping beer.
or brandy. I don't know.
Welcome, everyone.
No, it's gotta be deeper though.
Welcome, everyone.
Now you sound like Cookie Monster.
We should put this in the end.
Outtakes.
Welcome. Welcome.
You kind of sound like those people who are like, "Welcome to our Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
We've got schnitzel and pretzels, and over here we've got some mustards."
Welcome to my castle. A castle full of bats.
Welcome to a very spooky special Precisely podcast, and I am joined by not 1 or 2, but 3 hosts. To my right,
Oh! I am the werewolf Bo.
and to his right,
I'm gonna be Tony, the friendly ghost.
is that because you're so pale?
Yeah.
And I am Count Kelly, or Countess Kelly, I guess. And we are ready to talk about video games and beer and
You're so
howling.
good at that. You look like Teen Wolf.
Oh my God, this is going to be a great podcast. Welcome everyone to Precisely. Let's cheers to October. Let's drink our beers, and let's talk about video games. So, what beer are we drinking on, Kelly?
So, this is a special hand-delivered Treehouse Brewing Company beer from
Hand
Moi.
delivered by you.
Yes, I drove up to Massachusetts 2 weekends ago with some friends. We stopped by Treehouse on the way to Boston, which was an excellent time, by the way. And we got to check out the location that they had. It was a canning day, so they were just serving up the cans to take. It was a crazy line. I had no idea what I was getting into, but it was definitely worth the hour and 15-minute wait because this beer is delicious.
And yeah, when it comes to Treehouse beer, if anyone knows like good dank beer, you have to wait in line for Treehouse beer. Like, people resell these beers for astronomical pricing. But this beer is amazing. It's the first time I've had this. This is what?
This is the Autumn.
It's
and
just called Autumn.
yes, it is a double IPA.
Oh, it's a double.
Yes.
What's the percent on it?
I did not look it up.
I don't know if
if
it
it's on the
says it.
can, but the can is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's got a lot of leaves just kind of falling into a pile. It's very minimalist, and the side of the can says, "Autumn is a fresh entry into the continuing evolution of Treehouse's seasonal efforts, inspired by the vibrant sensory experience associated with hop harvest, and harkening back to extraordinary memories of the Tasmanian countryside. Autumn utilizes carefully selected Galaxy hops atop the heavily noted base beer. The result is a chewy hop nirvana, and it smells like teen spirit." Just kidding. That's not on there. It has the power to instantly transport you to a place of natural wilderness, pristine air, and awe. We invite you to use it as a vehicle to reflect, give thanks, and revel in the company of friends this autumn, which is exactly what we are doing this Friday evening.
Oh, yeah. And it's actually 8.2%.
Shit. All right. Here we
which
go.
is a perfect double IPA percent for me.
Yeah, that's nice. It's very smooth. It doesn't taste, to me, very bitter at all. It's very... For a double IPA, this is pretty smooth, I think.
It's very earthy to me, which I like when it comes to beers and like October-like beers. It's not overabundant of like, it doesn't taste dark or anything or like too hoppy, like you said. It's just a very smooth tasting. This is earth. Drink it.
Yeah, it kind of, I mean, it's when we were up there, it was just turning, the leaves were turning, you know, it was beautiful outside,
yeah.
and they have such a nice ground that they have this brewing on, with all these Adirondack chairs, like these tall trees, and there's just this beautiful land, and it kind of tastes like the day that we were waiting outside for this beer. It was just very nice fall day.
Yeah. I can dig it. So I wanted to look up the history of pumpkin beers. Even though this isn't a pumpkin beer, we're going to plan on drinking a pumpkin beer later in this podcast. But Google says the first thing that says is the brewing of beer with pumpkin in the United States dates back to 1771, which is crazy to me. The first commercially brewed pumpkin ale came from Buffalo Bill's Brewery in Hayward, California in the 1980s. The recipe based on brewing studies made by George Washington.
That's George Washington out there getting basic with his wooden teeth. He's sipping on his PSLs right through those little birch motherfuckers, right through the middle of them. A little straw. I don't know if they were birch.
Did they have straws back then?
I'm sure
No,
they had
because
some equivalent.
no, they were saving the turtles back then. They had to have been.
Yeah, they cared about the turtles for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that George Washington was even brewing beer, you know?
I mean, he wasn't doing it. Let's
Everyone
be
was
real.
drinking alcohol then.
Yeah, well, no, I feel like alcohol, like, way back when, especially in the Americas, was, like, mainly, like, hard ciders. You know, like, Johnny Appleseed, like, planted all these apple trees.
I don't know, dude. They had beer well before that.
They had beer, but I think
Johnny Appleseed was way after.
I think cider was, like, the easier thing to make, though, than...
I don't know, maybe wines though.
Yeah, wine and cider and mead.
Yes.
You know, like beer, I feel like is relatively new when it comes to alcohol.
I don't know
the history of
the
alcohol,
history of that. But I would also
let's act like we do.
Yeah, let's
know
pretend like we're knowledgeable. But I would also say
it
that
would make sense.
it probably wasn't the first choice though, because if you think back then, everybody was smoking pipes. So it was always the relaxation of choice probably was a pipe filled with, either pot or tobacco at that point.
Yeah, and pot sucked back then, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, who was it? Thomas Jefferson had pot farms or whatever.
Hemp farms.
He was just doping up over there.
Yeah, I'm sure. He was making rope.
He-
But no,
TJ ripping
like,
dabs.
When it comes to alcohol, though, like mead was probably the first alcohol that was discovered from archaeologists in ancient Egypt time. They found like vats of mead or like residue of mead in vats, which maybe it was just vats of honey.
Say Vots one more time.
Vats?
He doesn't know.
No, yes, no.
What? Vats?
Yes.
It's vats.
Okay. If
You guys love messing with my pronunciation.
punctuation. All right.
All
This
right.
gets better and better.
I hate you all.
Tune in next time to see what Bo mispronounces next.
Pronunciation. All right. I'm done. I'm done with this podcast.
He's done with the history section. Now we're moving on.
Well, I went to an amazing beer fest last weekend with my wife. We went to DC. It was called Scallywag or Scallywagger. I forget. I have a hat that says the name of the beer fest. But really fun, really big. It was actually, you could see the Capitol in the background. So that was cool. A lot of beers. A lot of different breweries, over 150 breweries. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it on the last podcast when we were talking about Beer Fest and stuff. But really unique things. It was funny, like anytime someone like dropped their glass and it shattered, everyone could hear it for some reason and everyone cheered. I'm like, why are we cheering for this? Like, this person can't drink anymore.
Oh no. They only give you one.
Yeah, they only give you one. But one thing that was cool about it is that they had this school bus filled with like dry flowers, and you could go there and create your own like crown of dried flowers and hops and stuff. And so my wife and I were all decked out like with these crowns of like glorious dried flowers and hops around my hat, around her head. Just a really good time. We took the metro, so we were safe from driving the whole time. But yeah, really fun. I actually passed out a bunch of Precisely stickers during it too, and
Nice.
wifey got sort of upset, being like, "Oh, I didn't know this was an advertising thing." Like, life is advertising, babe. Gotta market yourself.
Gotta hustle. Well,
Yeah.
I hope there's some of those people tuning in. Hello, and I'm sorry.
Exactly. Thank you if you are. Message us if you are. So let's get to games. What games have you played, guys?
I have still been slowly chunking away Link's Awakening a little bit.
Oh, you haven't beaten it?
No, I have not. I feel like I barely have had time to play games the last couple of weeks. But
Why
I
is that?
work mostly, just a busy schedule. And then I had all last weekend I was in or attending weddings. It's just been, October's been crazy.
Yeah.
And I was actually, before I came over here, I was continuing on my quest to beat my Ratchet and Clank games again, all of them. So I'm still on the first one, which is a lot of fun and just a very nostalgic game. So I'm having fun with that. But I guess the one that I've put most of my time into currently was I started with the Overwatch Halloween event this week.
How's that going?
Well, so they started it up on Tuesday. It's until I think November 4th you have to play. So basically they give you a new game mode and you have to, it's like you have to beat waves of enemies in a certain amount of time without taking damage to a door. Like you're protecting a door to a castle, and these are like zombies essentially that they come in waves.
Is this multiplayer then? Or
Yes,
is it? Okay.
it's all multiplayer. So it comes in waves, and then there's like bosses every couple of waves, that have different abilities and such. So then you basically just try to beat it in a certain amount of time without, taking too much damage to the door, or, hopefully not losing all of your enemy teammates. So that's the arcade mode that I've been playing a lot of.
Is that fun though?
Yeah, I like that. This is my favorite. I think my favorite event out of all of
Okay.
them that they do yearly.
So they do how many events a year? Do you think? Is it like holiday based or?
Kind of, yeah. There's usually like a Lunar New Year event. There's there's like a, what do they have? Like a summer event. They have Halloween. They have Christmas, and they have like an anniversary, and which kind of just like they just extend the storyline
Yeah.
and stuff during that point. But yeah, I think there's probably like 6 or so events a year that they do. But this is my favorite game mode, and like you unlock all these skins and stuff. So it's a good time to try to unlock all that stuff, and they're like super spooky. So I like how they look a lot, because I like Halloween. So I try to unlock all of them. So it's a good time.
Cool. Tony, what have you been up to? I forgot to ask.
Not much. I've been super sick.
Yeah, but you went on a mountain biking adventure or something?
Yeah, I went to a bike park, downhill mountain biking in New Jersey.
Ooh.
Mountain Creek.
Oh, it was in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a big ski resort, snowboard, and mountain biking.
And what I saw like from your stories was that you're like riding
Yeah, you ride
ski lifts.
You ride the lift up the mountain.
with your bike.
Yeah, and then you just ride down the mountain.
That's fucking crazy.
That's insane. I'd like to try it like one time. I think
No.
it'd be fun
Not me.
because I can do them on skis. I'd want to see how I could do it on a bike.
Yeah, it's super fun. It's dangerous though.
Yeah.
You gotta
You need a
wear
good
like a
bike.
full face helmet.
I was
and
gonna say,
everything.
did you have like a whole chest protection
No,
on
there
and
was
everything?
people with that, but I just had the knee pads and the full face helmet.
Yeah, it's no joke.
No, it's not. I crashed once and I ripped my pants.
Oh,
Did you?
Yeah,
Jeans or what?
yeah, like canvas jeans.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Well, yeah. I was fine. I just ripped my pants. I scraped up my arm and leg a little bit, but
At least you didn't hit your head.
I know.
Jeez.
Well, I hit
can't-
my head on the ground.
Oh,
but I was wearing that
alright.
he's
big
got that
helmet.
big
Yeah,
helmet
yeah,
on.
yeah.
He's good.
You're fine then. You play any games?
Not much, no.
You download?
Downloaded MLB.
Hell yeah, we're gonna play that. I put it in my library, so I'm ready to download it once I'm ready to delete some video games off my 500 gigabyte PS4.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. I gotta beat some games first. But some games that I played and beat, segue, was really shitty segue.
Wow.
But yeah.
It's beautiful.
I finished Ni no Kuni 2. Really pleasantly surprised with how well the story ended. It didn't leave me so like heartwarming feeling that Ni no Kuni 1 did, but it made me want to come back, but I haven't really gone back to it. Like after I beat it, my wife was like, "Why are you still playing this?" And I'm like, "Well, there's still more things I can do." And then since then, I was just like, I need to keep completing games. So I haven't gone back to it yet, but I feel like it is a game that I can go back to. Like the controls aren't too difficult to remember.
Are you gonna get Ni no Kuni 1 for Switch?
No.
No, you're just gonna keep it on PS3.
Yeah, for sure. No, I don't like buying the same game again. If I don't plan on playing it, I don't feel like there's a reason.
I just knew you were a
To
fan
buy
of
it.
it, so I just didn't know if
I'm
you'd
a
like
sup-
to do
yeah,
it like
I mean,
in handheld or anything.
I'm a super
but-
fan of it. Maybe if I hear like sales aren't that great on it on the Switch, I might buy it just to keep it sealed. You know, to eventually sell 10 years down the road. I don't know. But no, I don't want to play it again anytime soon. It's not like an Earthbound for me in
Gotcha.
that sense. It is like an Earthbound, but there hasn't been that much time pass where I'm like,
Yeah,
I-
you don't
I
have
need
that
to play this
high
again.
replayability
Yeah.
yet. Yeah.
But absolutely, I would love to play it again someday, and maybe it will be on the Switch, but I don't plan on buying it quite yet. I also beat Link's Awakening.
Nice.
I finished it uh, one day after, not one day after, but the next time that I picked it up after being so sick, and I got so far in it. Literally, like the castle that I was stuck at, which was the bird castle. Are you there yet? All right.
I don't remember where I am. It's been like a week.
Yeah.
I forget.
So yeah, it was like a week or two until I picked it up again, which I'm pretty sure I like beat it in like 2 sittings. But the first sitting was me being sick all day, so I played it for like 10 hours. And then the second sitting, I just finished it off. But I literally don't know why I thought I was stuck. How I was explaining how like I hated this dungeon, this and that. Like literally, I just needed to go upstairs and fight the boss. Like that's all I needed to do.
Oh my
Like,
god.
there's 4 pillars that you have to take down in this dungeon, which I already did. And when I play games, I like to get to a certain point in the game where I'm like, now I should know where to go next. You know, like either my character's facing the right direction, like, all right, now I need to go north when I boot this back up or whatever. Like, I try to put myself into that game for the next time I play that game to know where to go. Or like
That's smart.
Yeah, like I'll defeat the boss to know where I am. When it came to a Switch game, what's nice about Switch games is that you can just power it off and it goes into sleep mode. So you're literally where you are last time you checked. And I literally just had to go upstairs and defeat the boss, which was a really fun boss. It's a 2D perspective instead of like a top-down perspective on this boss. It's a bird that's flying back and forth, like throwing feathers at you. And I just boomeranged the hell out of it until it died. And the end of the game was good. Like, I love the cutscenes in it that they redid. I'm not sure if the original one did have cutscenes, but obviously, like, being on the Nintendo Switch, seeing like 3D anime cutscenes is like really pretty. Good game. A lot of people like ask me, they're like, "Did you beat it without dying?" And I told them, I was like, "Well, I would have, but Tony picked up the controller and died like twice
Blaming
in
the
a
whole
matter
thing
of a
on
minute."
you.
I did.
No, I did die a few times on the end boss. The end boss was an ass. If you haven't beaten the game, not spoiling anything for you, but before you go to the egg, I'm just giving you a hint here, but before you go to the giant egg, go back to the library and read the black book, because that will give you directions on how to navigate the egg to get to the end boss. And the end boss is a bitch, but to navigate the egg is different for every game, supposedly. Which I had to look that up.
That's
I was
cool.
like, what am I supposed to do here? Like, everything's the same. It's sort of like the Lost Woods on Ocarina of Time, where, like, you hear the music in one direction, and that's the way you go until you find it. This one is, you got to read a book in the library, and mine was left, up, right, up. And then you drop down a hole, and there's a boss. It has multiple stages of fuck you. And I'm like, God damn it. Like,
Was it really that bad? Are you being dramatic a little bit?
So I don't ever get very angry at video games or like rage quit or anything. But I was playing while my wife was sitting on the couch. I was playing on the couch that you're sitting on, Tony. And I died the first time, and I was like, that sucked. Like, I know what to do now. So let me play him again. And Kayla was like, I want to watch something, or let's go to bed. And I'm just like, one more time. She's like, yeah, I've heard that multiple times, you know. I'm like, just one more time. If I die again, I will stop playing tonight. So, sure enough, I go in there, and I'm at the last stage of the boss, which I think he has like 4 to 6 different stages, and each one gets significantly harder, and you only have so many hearts and fairies and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure in Link's Awakening, you have to actually open the fairy bottle to make that fairy give you hearts. So you have to equip it as an item. Whereas, like, in all the other Zelda games, as long as you have a fairy on you and you die, the
It'll
fairy comes up.
automatically do
Yeah,
it.
exactly. This one, no, not so much, which I had to learn the hard way because I was like, fuck, I already had a fairy, you know? Didn't help me. So I got real close the second time, and I'm like, four hearts, 3 hearts, 2 hearts. I was like counting down my hearts, which probably like made my heart pound even harder. And I died, and I slammed my controller on the couch cushion. I was just like, fuck. And all my dogs jumped. Kayla jumped. And I was like, I knew the next time I played it, I could beat it. But I was like, I promised her that I would just stop. So I did. And then the next day, I beat it. So it felt good. You know, I hate being that type of person, though, that gets angry at video games. But when you know you're so close to beating something,
It happens to everyone, I
It
think,
does,
at
yeah.
some point or another.
and when you invest that much time, you're just like, I want this over with so I can play the next game. The third game I beat within a week was Katamari Damacy Reroll, which was the first time I beat it on the Switch, but I beat it multiple times on the PS2, and it felt great. It's an amazing game. Highly recommend it to anyone that hasn't ever played a Katamari game. Once you play a Katamari game, you're probably hooked on Katamari, unless it's like, no, unless it's the PSP or the Vita version. Like, those sort of suck because the controls suck, but even the Xbox 360 or PS3 version is pretty fun. They're just shorter games. But I've now played through all the Katamari games and feel great about that. It's still a great game. I don't think there was anything like new in Reroll besides updated graphics, right?
No, I don't think so.
I had a friend say that there is DLC for it.
What?
Yeah, which surprised me. I let my buddy Dave borrow it though, so he was a huge Katamari fan when I brought it around back in the day on the PS2, and he's like, dude, I would love to play that. You know, he enjoys Switch games, but he doesn't enjoy buying them for some reason. So I let him borrow a bunch of games.
For some reason.
Yeah, that's the same friend that I bought Mario Maker 2 and the yearly pass for
Nice.
online. But yeah, so he's going to enjoy that. But I would love to go back to it and play DLC if there's new maps and stuff. I really
had
didn't
no
look into
idea.
it. Yeah, I really didn't look
I'll have to
into it.
look.
But yeah, that'd be cool. Besides that, we both played, Kelly, you and I played Super Hot VR. Tony, you watched Kelly play a little bit of it.
Dude, that was super fun.
It looks awesome.
So PlayStation right now, they're celebrating, I think, their 3-year anniversary for PlayStation VR. And all their VR games, I'm pretty sure it's all of them, are on sale right now, like up to 50-60% off. So Super Hot was like 40% off or 50% off. I bought it for $14.99. I've heard great things about it before it even went to a VR game. And after playing it in VR and like getting so far as I did, I don't see how you could play this outside of VR.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It's such an immersive game. Like, I feel like Neo in the Matrix.
It's exactly what I felt like
Yeah.
earlier.
You get to, like, so you're like an assassin or something. What you didn't see, Kelly, is when you start off a level or like a sequence of levels, you're like in this like little cubby hole like office area. Like it's like an apartment, but it's like full of like all these old computers, and there'll be like a floppy drive that you have to put into a computer that boots up, and then it's like put your headset on and you like lift your arms up, grab this headset, this goggle thing, and put it over you, and then the whole screen goes white. And then there's these items around you that you can pick up, anything from like a bottle to a top hat to guns. Like there's Uzis, there's shotguns, there's pistols. They all fire differently, and you can throw every item too, including the guns. So you pick up an item. As soon as you pick it up, you'll see an enemy or multiple enemies coming at you, but they only move when you move. So you can literally stand still and sort of like look around, but if your head's bobbing up and down, they're going to move closer to you and they're trying to kill you. So you're trying to kill them first, and it's a one-hit KO for you and the enemies. So as soon as you pick up an item, you want to shoot them or you want to throw it right away. And it gets intense because when they're firing bullets at you, like you saw some dude was firing a
Yeah, he
shotgun.
was firing like a shotgun. There was like 5 bullets coming at me.
And you got to dodge 'em.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
It's fun though.
Super fun game. It's a puzzle game essentially.
Yeah.
In VR where you're like, where can I move around? Do I need to duck behind this obstacle, that's going to stop the bullets while like throwing these like plates and empty cans at enemies that will essentially kill them? Or do I just like pick up the shotgun and just like fire crazy? Like it's a lot of fun. Highly recommend it to everyone. So happy I got it on sale and then I played it. I plan on beating that game, but unfortunately, Kelly, you started where I ended, and it's a very hard level at that point.
Yeah, I can see where it gets difficult.
Yeah, there's like four to five of those levels before it will save you, and you go back to that like apartment building to start another 4 to 5 levels. Great game though.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to pick it up.
Yeah, besides that, I've been playing Hollow Knight on the Switch, which I've only heard great things about. And sure enough, it's an amazing game. And I'm fully invested in it. It's a Metroidvania game, but done, like I hate to say it, but like done almost perfectly. Like the controls are so smooth and so accurate. I died so many times learning how to play it. But it's a game that you learn from your mistakes. Every time you die, you're like, I know how to actually beat this person now. Each enemy is so different that you learn how they move. You learn when to attack them. You learn when to dodge their attacks and stuff. And all the controls are very simple, but so very like accurate. Like the button presses are on point. Like when you mess up. You can't blame the game at all when you mess up because you're like, this is why I died. I was dumb about this. I thought I could attack him and he hit me and now I'm dead. Really fun. You're like this like little like bug dude that's like in this world where like almost everyone like abandoned essentially, and there's other bug people. Like, they're like beetle people, I guess, that like went into the deeps of the world. And you don't have to, but I guess you like search out and find them. And by finding them, they come back to the town. They might be able to sell you items then or like give you advice or whatever. Really fun though. Highly recommend it too. Like, I'm pretty sure it was shout out to Little Gray Rabbit. He mentioned like how amazing of a game it was, and he's probably like the 5th or 6th person that talked about it. And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna look it up and buy it. And sure enough, there's different variations of this game on the Switch, PS4, but there's one on the Switch that I almost bought, but it was just a download code with a case. And I'm like, thank God I didn't buy that. Like, I want the physical of it. So I found that, and it was like $50. I think it was a limited run game, and probably only sold for $30. But I don't mind paying extra money on something that I missed out on that I know is going to be a great game. But yeah, you guys should play it.
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yeah,
It looks
really
good.
fun. Really fun. You want to take a break?
Sure.
Cool. Welcome back, everyone. So we are drinking on the Erie Brewing Company Johnny Rails. I picked this up yesterday. This is a pumpkin beer, pumpkin ale beer, weighing in at a 6.5%. It's really good. It's really heady. It's very pumpkin-y. A lot of ginger, too. A lot of spices, nutmeg, all that. You can taste it all. All spice. Cinnamon.
Yeah. I'd agree with all of those.
Yeah.
I was just going to see how many spices you could name.
That's it.
That's all you got.
Yeah, after allspice, that's it.
Yeah, it's like your typical pumpkin beer, right? 6.5%,
Yeah,
kind of spicy, folly,
very folly.
warms you up a little bit.
Yeah, it's toasty.
Got anything that it says online that I haven't said?
No, it's from Erie Brewing Company out of Erie, Pennsylvania.
Everything that I said, yeah.
All right.
That's it?
Yeah, there's nothing on about
Alright.
it.
Well, it's a good beer. Check it out if you have it in your area. It was surprising that, in October, I went to one of the biggest distributors around us. It has, like, the most craziest of beers, and surprisingly, they had, like, 3 pumpkin beers. Literally 3 pumpkin beers for sale, and I was just like, you guys have thousands of beers, and nobody's brewing pumpkin beer right now. I don't know what it is, but I'm glad I picked this one. There's another one that I could have chose from, and I was like, no, the label doesn't look so good. This one has like a little jack-o'-lantern face.
He's cute. He's got a little bow tie.
Next to railroad tracks, like he wants to get hit or something. I don't know.
No, he's the rails. It's the rails. He's Johnny, and that's the rails.
Yeah. He might be Johnny.
He's Johnny Rails.
He is Johnny, and that's the rails.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's talk about horror games. What are your guys' favorite horror game? Or what scares you the most? I feel like all 3 of us were not really big horror fans.
I'm a horror fan in like the fact that like I'll watch a horror movie,
Yeah.
and I like Halloween, but I don't like going to haunted houses, and I don't like playing survival horror games either.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I think it's like when I'm watching it, or I'm like removed from the situation, but when I'm playing it or when I'm at like a haunted house, my anxiety is just like too much to deal with. So I think that's why I don't like it. But I think, let's see, as far as horror games, I liked the when I played the Until Dawn Rush of Blood for
Yeah.
VR. Have you ever played that one?
No.
That one was really fun because it wasn't necessarily like a survival horror game. You're on like a roller coaster. It's VR.
It's like on rails.
Yeah, it's VR. You have like a little
Yeah,
pea
I saw
shooty
it,
gun,
yeah.
and you just shoot things as you ride by. So it's like, oh yeah, there's some spooky stuff happening, but it's like
It's a pea shooter gun?
basically
It's not a real gun.
not. I mean, basically, I don't. It's probably a real gun, but I mean, it's like it's not like you have an Uzi strapped to the front of the thing. Like,
A pea shooter is referred to as like a tiny gun. Like that would just be like a little tiny, like
yeah, it's like a little pistol. Like it's not anything wacky.
I once had this potato gun, and you literally would shove it into a potato.
Yeah, I had the same thing.
And then you could shoot the potato like
Little
spuds
pieces
out
of
of
it.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, no, it's
So
different.
it's not that.
No, it's not a
Okay.
potato gun. But yeah, so like things would come out at you when you were riding by, or like
Yeah.
you'd see a target. And that was cool. I liked that up until they got to the part where it was giant spiders. And spiders are like one of the things I cannot do in this life.
I hate 'em.
And I immediately threw the headset off, and I was like, I can't play this game anymore. I can't. Like, so I will never beat that game because I can't do like.
Can
I
I
was like, if
borrow
there
that?
was one, yeah, I was like, if there's one spider, I can do it. But then they just kept coming, and then there was like 7 spiders, and I was like, nope, we're done.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do this. They were huge, like,
No,
and
I
in
think I've
VR,
seen 'em.
oh my god! And then when they died, it was like yellow guts everywhere. I was like, dude, I can't. I'm sorry.
I wonder how I'd react to that.
I kind of want to watch you do that
I'm
level.
No, I'm interested in playing that game.
I will let you
honestly.
borrow it though. It's
Yeah.
fun up until that
Is
part.
it-
I actually really
is
enjoyed
jump
it.
Scares, or is it
Um,
more like just like crazy shit?
It's kind of like, so things like pop out at you. So I was like, ooh, like there's something. But then like there was one level. It's been a while. It's been like a year maybe since I played it, and I think there was like a girl who's like this ghosty thing, and that was like kind of spookier.
Yeah.
But like as you ride by, things just kind of pop out at you. That they
Yeah.
try to get you that way.
So Do you shoot everything? Is there things that you shouldn't shoot in it?
I don't think so. I think you basically just
It's
try to
not
shoot.
like-
Either there's targets and then it's
not
like enemies.
Virtual Cop where it's like, oh, that's a
No.
good guy.
No, I don't think there's
Okay.
any good guys. It's you on this roller coaster of death,
Alright.
and you just have to
I
get
think
out
I-
of there.
I think I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Do you have unlimited bullets in?
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Like I
Okay.
said, it's been a while, but it
Yeah,
was cool to play.
I think I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
If I can shoot everything that scares me, I'll be alright.
Yes, you should be able to shoot everything that scares you. I
Yeah.
think that's the point of it. So I liked that one a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
One of my all-time favorite horror games, which isn't necessarily scary in the sense because it's a retro game, but it would be Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Like anyone
that
that
game.
follows me on Instagram or the podcast page at Precisely Podcast, go follow it if you're listening. Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Like, it's a great single player, but even better when it's a multiplayer game. It's an action shooter game where you can upgrade your weapons, you find weapons, and you're essentially saving neighbors and humans before they die from zombies. So the longer you wait in the level searching around for things, your neighbors might die, so that's less points for you. And I believe there's 58 levels, which I was surprised by. Last time I took a picture of the box, it was like 58 levels, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's like 112 levels, and I had to look it up, and it's like, no, there's only 58 levels.
I think it feels like a lot
It's
because
so much.
of the age of the
Yeah.
game.
So, I mean, it's a code-based game, so you can literally, if you get stuck at a level, you can look it up and skip that level to go to another level. I mean, there's, like, one of the scariest parts for me, and not scary, but, like, creepy parts was, like, being in the mall, and there's these little kids that go, like, crazy sounds, and they're, like, throwing these axes at you, and they, like, burn up and fire, I feel like. I don't know. And then there's, like, a chainsaw guy in the next level after that, where the only way to get away from him, you can't kill him, but the only way to get away from him is to, like, get these bubble clowns that, was my dog just making a bunch of noises?
Yeah.
Okay.
Boomer is being spooky.
I have headphones on and I can't really. Yeah. All right, that was weird. But you get these like inflatable clowns that you like post up, and the chainsaw guy like rotates around the clown, like not being able to attack you, and only the clown. And the sounds in the game are just so horrific and so scary sounding. But yeah, that's one of my favorite games.
I love that game. It's a really fun game to play.
It
And I
is.
feel like it's like when you're playing it, it feels like it's endless. Like
I hope it's a game.
it just keeps going.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
hope
good.
it's a game that they port to the Switch.
Oh, that would be really fun.
For
Like
the Super Nintendo,
on the Super Nintendo.
especially
Yes.
with the multiplayer mode online and
Mhm.
stuff. It would be perfect. I feel like they will.
I hope they do. That
Um,
seems like
And
an
I feel,
amazing
yeah, I
one.
feel like you'll get a lot of publicity from that, you know, and really make people know about this game that people might not know, you know. We're actually going to have the intro song be Zombies Ate My Neighbors for this podcast. So if you heard that and you're like, what the fuck was that? That's what it's from. Another game would be Splatterhouse, which is more of a Sega-based game. Might have been for other systems too.
I don't think so. Don't quote me on it, but I don't think so.
TurboGrafx?
Nope. Yeah, TurboGrafx it was on.
It was?
Yes.
Okay.
99.9% sure. Because I don't
Yeah.
collect TurboGrafx, but
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
feel
sure
like
it
was
is.
on TurboGrafx. But yeah, Splatterhouse is a really weird game too, where you're like Jason. I think Jason. And you're just cutting people and zombies and things, and it gets weird. There's like a haunted house. It like goes berserk on you at one point, where like things are like flying at you, and you have to cut them before they hit you. It's a hard game, you know. Like all games back in the day were essentially like on a harder basis than they are nowadays. Another one that's one of our followers' favorite game is not Clock Tower. What is it? Yeah, Clock
Yeah,
Tower.
Clock Tower.
Yeah, is that
Yep,
the Wonder
Clock
Swan?
Tower.
Yeah, Clock Tower. D Pixels loves Clock Tower for the SNES, which was never ported to America, but it was fan translated, I guess, for the SNES. I have it for the Wonder Swan. Super scary game where it's a point and click game where you explore and stuff, but all your friends start dying and people, you just see dead bodies everywhere and you're like, oh, I gotta keep going, I gotta escape this place, and eventually you'll see Edward Scissorhands, essentially, who has like these giant scissors that will cut you to death, but you gotta run away from them or like find a hiding spot from them, which is sort of like where like Resident Evil came about, and if you see the big enemy, like he's gonna chase you, so you gotta hide and stuff until you can get away from him.
Yeah, that's Clock Tower was also on PS1, which is where Resident Evil was as well. So I feel like that, I mean, not knowing too much, but I feel like a lot of survival horror started right there on the PS1. Like those quintessential. Silent Hill was on PS1 too. So there was a lot of those big name games on there.
Tony, what's a horror game that you remember?
I remember bits and pieces of like Resident Evil, but I don't remember specifically ever playing the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember friends playing either the N64 or PS1 version of the original Resident Evil when it first came out. And I'm like a kid. I'm like 8 years old or younger, watching them play it and just being petrified, being like, you're walking by that window. I saw what happened to the other windows. I know shit is about to pop out. It hasn't happened yet. Oh, fuck! There it goes! Oh, God! It's like, you already know it's going to happen, but it's like, once it happens and, like, the whole atmosphere behind it and the sounds and stuff, you're just like, it's a spooky scenario.
I agree.
Yeah.
One of the games that I think is a horror game. I mean, it's not the spookiest game ever, but Dead Space, that series. Have you ever played any of those?
I haven't, but I've seen them and heard of them.
They're kind of spooky. I played, I can't remember what number one, and then I also played the one on Wii, which was kind of fun because you get to use a little zapper, and you get to shoot things out on the TV with that motion. That's fun. But those were pretty scary because you'd just be like going along and be like, oh, I know things are going to come out of the walls or whatever. And you'll be like trying to figure out which way it's coming from. And all of a sudden it comes from like the ground or whatever. And it's like jumps up at you like these giant like alien monsters.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh shit.
I just don't like jump scares.
Yeah. It was like, that was one of those games like I enjoyed it and I played it for a while. And then it was like, okay, I have to stop because I'm spooked and I can't do anymore. So that's a fun one, though. I also tried Resident Evil 7 for a little bit. I was like hearing all these really good things, and I didn't have a Resident Evil that I played before. I think I tried 4 for a little bit, but I never really got into it. So I tried 7, and I was in the house. I don't know how far I got in the game, but I probably wasn't that far. But I got to, like, I think it was the attic. And I turned the corner, and it was just like a mannequin standing there. It wasn't even like a person. It's because you're going with like a flashlight and it's dark.
Yeah, I hate that.
And there was just this white mannequin just like standing there. And I like went up and I turned off my PlayStation. I was like, I can't do it anymore. It wasn't even like a monster or person.
Yeah.
I just like got the shit scared out of me, like stood up and I was like, I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm done.
Yeah.
It wasn't even, I was like, I can't. Because I was on edge the whole time I was sitting there playing it.
Without even seeing it, just you describing it makes me be like, nope, never again.
Well, because it's so dark. And then you have like,
ever.
You can hear the sounds that are like lightly happening in the background. And you can like hear like little things like in different rooms of the house. And then I was just like, oh, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. And I turned the corner and it was a mannequin. There was nothing else. And I'm like, nope, I've got to go. Goodbye. And I never touched it again.
Yeah, when it comes to horror games, I feel like the atmosphere is all where it's at and like the sound. And
so well done.
And yeah, they do it well. You know, like do it probably better than most horror movies do it, like, because you're immersed into it. You know, you're actually playing the character that's in this, you know, quote unquote movie. Like, you're playing the part of the protagonist, and you're feeling everything that it feels, you know, or you're feeling it more so because you're the actual human playing it, and they're just a robot, you know, being controlled by you. But yeah, I essentially hate horror games. That's why my two favorite are 16-bit games, you know. But I did get the itch to play a horror game this year after going into a haunted house at DC, in the DC area. It was like an old cinema that they renovated into a haunted house, and it was super scary. Like, my wife and I, it was just the two of us. We were the first people there, and they were like, "How many are in your party?" And I was like, "2." They're like, "All right, follow us." And my wife was like, "Those other two people can come that were behind us," and they were like, "Nope, just the two of you." And it's like, we're the first people to go into this haunted house. Like, this is creepy. And it was at an old cinema, and it was really well done. There was one part where this zombie guy, you know, we like turn the corner and he's like eating a Jolly Rancher, like unwrapping it into his mouth. And he's like, oh fuck. He's like, people are coming. But besides that, it was like super realistic. We jetted out of there like the end hallway, you know, like out of any cinema, like the fire exit area was the end of it. And a chainsaw came out like right behind us. I didn't even look behind us, but we both ran, and I just ran past my wife, and she's like, "I've never seen you run that fast." I was like, "I didn't think I could run that fast."
Oh my god.
But it was so much fun. It was great.
I can't do haunted houses.
I can.
I cannot.
And I absolutely loved it. And it made me be like, all right, I wanna play a horror game. But instead, you know, like being at an Airbnb, I watched a bunch of like horror shows, like ghost finding shows and stuff. Like
They're the best. They're the worst, but they're the best.
yeah, they're good. I watched one that was good with Ozzy Osbourne's son, Jack.
What? He has
Yeah.
a ghost finding show?
And it was good.
Oh wait, no, I think I heard about
Yeah,
that.
it was actually really good. And then the one after that was like these 3 older dudes that just screamed like little bitches, and I was just like, fuck this show. But I ended up watching it. Like, I don't know why.
Did
but
you ever see the Ghost Adventures show with Zach Baggins or whatever? And he had
Bilbo Baggins.
Bilbo Baggins, yeah. And he had Post Malone on there.
No.
So Post Malone looking, you know, like Post Malone is
Yeah.
just on this paranormal investigation, just, you know, out there hunting for ghosts. And I watched the whole episode, and I don't remember one time, and they missed the whole, like, just teed it up for him. They could have called him Ghost Malone at any point in this show, and nobody
Yeah.
did. And I was so upset. Like, it was right there. You could have ran with it.
Damn it.
It was interesting.
I'm sure they regret it. I'm sure they got some emails.
Yeah, I'm sure I
If
I
you're
would have
thinking
emailed.
it. Yeah.
I mean, even if they did, I don't remember it, but I just remember sitting there the whole time being like, "Come on, just say it."
Yeah.
But
So one thing that I posed a question to you guys and a bunch of our followers and listeners was, if you could make a horror game, what would it be? Like, what would it entail? What type of game would it be? What's the synopsis of it? The plot, everything. Tony, you want to lead this one off so you can fall asleep after?
Yeah, I was thinking it'd be cool if, maybe not necessarily making a new game, but just like adding it on to other games. You know, how sometimes they do like a Halloween special or something. Well, what if they did something like that with more games? You know, and had all the characters kind of dressed up, maybe in costumes, or added, you know, kind of fall festivities to it, or maybe even made it like scary.
And
Some
they-
jump scares and stuff.
they're doing more of
And they
that
do
kind
that,
of. Yeah, they're starting. You know, Borderlands 3 I just saw is doing theirs right now too. They just started theirs.
Yeah.
So they're putting like pumpkins around, and they have like a boss that's some sort of skeleton or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But more games are doing that for sure.
Yeah. I'm
It's
saying
cool.
put it in even more games. You
Yeah,
know?
just more of it.
NBA 2K.
Spooky edition.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's wearing jack-o'-lanterns.
The basketball is a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah. I like that.
Red Dead Redemption. You can be the guy with
So-
the headless
Headless
horseman.
Horseman.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wouldn't
shit.
that be great?
That'd be excellent.
So, Red Dead, the original, not the original, but the Red Dead Redemption, that had a spooky, like, horror thing.
They had the zombie,
Yeah.
undead, whatever.
I never played it, but I remember seeing, like, they actually, like, made a game, an actual disc game.
I don't think that one sold as well, to be honest.
I'm sure it didn't, but they did do that, and a lot of people have been, like, asking for that as, like, DLC or something in the multiplayer.
Yeah.
RD2.
There was that point in time, I think it was like, 2007 to 2010, where everything was zombies. You had Left 4 Dead, every Call of Duty zombies. Like, everything was just becoming zombies. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. It was good gameplay for, what it was. But, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
mine would be on the whole realm of VR games. Mine would be a VR jack-o'-lantern competition where you get to cut a jack-o'-lantern any way you want to
That's
in
good.
VR. It goes back to like Tony, you and I, and like Tyler talking about like a VR game and like doing like surgery, like human surgery or like mechanic work. This is VR jack-o'-lantern cutting, and then after you cut it, you get to pick your own catapult and fucking fire that shit off like the last podcast we talked about.
oh, dude.
Right?
It's all coming back.
So essentially you could make an aerodynamic jack-o'-lantern,
That's cool.
like a paper plane jack-o'-lantern.
It's funny that you said that because when you asked this question, my first thought was like, what if I have a jack-o'-lantern carving game? And I was like, I don't know where I'd go with it.
Yeah.
So that's funny that you
I
actually
think in
thought
VR
of one.
it would work.
That'd be cool because you
proper,
could like
yeah.
try to draw that, like you could freehand it
Yeah.
from the VR, but you have like like what you're going off of on the side or something.
Absolutely.
That'd be funny. Just
Yeah.
like see how like Rock Band or whatever. They'd be like,
Yeah.
this is how accurate your pitch was when you were singing. It'd be like, how accurate was your pumpkin carving?
Oh, they actually did pitch.
Well, I don't know. It was like note accuracy.
Okay.
So,
I would suck at that.
I mean, I never sang on Rock Band.
I
Guitar, drums,
I
strictly.
can't pronounce half the words that I say. So. How about you, Kelly?
So I was thinking, and I kind of got inspired by this. I was watching Beetlejuice the other day, which is one of the greatest Halloween movies out there.
Yes.
I was thinking like it's not necessarily like a survival horror game, but like one of my favorite spooky games is Luigi's Mansion. So something kind of a little bit more on that realm, like a little bit more fun, and like graphically kind of a little bit more, I guess, like childish, not realistic, or fantasy, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So you would be somebody who had recently passed away, and you're in a place, and you have to haunt that place, like, so you have to scare so many people, or you have to do this thing and like to achieve this, or, like how they do in Beetlejuice when they die, like they're trying to scare these people out of their house, and they're like transforming their faces. They're like doing all the scary stuff and trying to scare them out. And like, so I feel like you could be that person and try to scare off like any people that you could be, like multiple people could be visiting this, like could be a business or something. And you would try to scare customers away by doing certain things. And, if you scare 3 people at once, you get a 3 times bonus or something like that.
Okay.
That would be cool. I feel like that'd be fun. Something to play. Like you get to be the person who's scaring.
Yeah, I like that idea. And I was even thinking, like how like most zombie games, like you're killing zombies.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking on this, like, what if you were the zombie
And you had to bite so
and
many
you had
people.
to infect so many
yeah.
people, like it was a multiplayer game, but you had to infect more people than everyone else or something like that. In the
Yeah.
realm of that.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Something weird, something different.
Yeah.
So I like all those ideas. Let's we ask the question to our listeners and followers on Instagram.
Take it to the streets.
You know, what would be your spooky horror Halloween game? And we'll just start from the top and go down. So, what the fuck Famicom or WTF Famicom or WT Famicom?
What
whatever.
the Famicom?
What the Famicom?
All right, I said it every possible
Every way.
He says my last marriage,
I mean,
and I said, "Whoa, please go into detail," which he has not, and that's okay.
that's your privacy. We respect it.
Yeah,
But, man, that could be interesting.
I don't want to see your past marriage as a game. Obviously, it wasn't good.
Oh, my God.
Hopefully, there was no zombies or mummies or
Oh,
scary things.
who knows?
Yeah.
Really could have been a dead-end relationship. Yo!
Maybe
Sorry.
your mommy called you.
Oh, man. All right. It's getting cheesy in here.
All right.
Shidoshi Games says
I would never pronounce his name like that, but I'm pretty sure that's how he.
That's what I was going to say.
I was going to say Shidoshi. All right. Either way, it doesn't matter.
Well, he's in the process of writing a graphic novel based on a kingdom that falls to a monstrous beast that has the power to disintegrate its foes with a roar, claws to shred flesh with corrosive acid. Perseus and cowardice peasant gains the power of a king and must overcome ways to restore the kingdom. Not really a horror story, but gory as fuck. LOL. Sounds pretty good to me, I guess.
Yeah, I like it.
Sounds fun.
I don't think it's a horror game, but probably would turn out to be like a cool looking game.
You can make that into an RPG easy, I'm sure.
Easy.
I was going to
Easy.
say, it sounds a lot like some Zelda game, maybe.
Yeah, could
Mixed
be.
with a little bit of Mario.
A little bit
Because
more.
of Bowser.
Little
Sounds
Bowser.
Well,
Sure.
doesn't
his-
Bowser
His
sound
roars.
like a monstrous beast that has the power to disintegrate its
Yes.
foes?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
Who can pronounce things nowadays?
disintegrate.
Just stumble over it. It's fine. We're drinking
Just
beer.
stumble it.
All right. Our dear friend Mesmeron said he created a game where, for some reason, society could no longer generate electricity. Imagine what would happen. I can only imagine. It would be chaos.
I said the horror.
Chaos. Sounds like a interesting time, though, like trying to figure out how to make things work and how to do things.
It's like a lot
Again.
of books I read.
It feels
Back
like a
in the day.
dystopian kind of,
Yeah.
ending to the world in a
Yeah.
way.
If you ever
I don't
read
know.
the book Anthem by Ayn Rand, it's similar to that. But this is a book fucking podcast, so let's keep going.
Whoops.
Feral Jesus writes, I've often wondered why there's no horror survival game based on the television show Supernatural. Survival horror and stopping the apocalypse.
I think that would be interesting.
I
I
said-
like that show a
I
lot.
said, I feel like there has been. I mean, most zombie games are apocalyptic, right?
So the thing about Supernatural, though, have you ever watched it?
No.
Okay, so Supernatural, in essence, is these two brothers who were raised to hunt the supernatural by their father. And they say it's the family business. So they go around in each of these episodes. It's like 15 seasons long. It's very good, though. So I recommend it. They basically go around and they get, in the beginning especially, it's more of like they get notification that there's like a vampire in Maine and like, a zombie in, Texas. And then there's like a shapeshifter in Minnesota or something. They get different calls or different notifications about like different types of supernatural creatures. It's not just ghosts. It's not just zombies. It's like, and you're including like Bigfoot and shit like that. So there's all these different things, but then basically what it boils down to is that there's this battle between heaven and hell, and there's angels and there's demons on the planet, and they're trying to make sure everything goes their way, but then it never does, and then it basically turns into like them battling the angels and demons, or like, you know, that kind of stuff. So it more turns into them saving the world from all these supernatural beings.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more than just like zombies are here and we're all gonna die.
Okay.
So I think that would actually kind of be cool, because you hunting different supernatural beings in the same game, I don't think that really is a thing anywhere. I mean, you don't hunt zombies
I
and
would
ghosts
say,
in the
like,
same thing
Witcher.
usually.
Possibly.
Oh, I've never played Witcher.
Yeah, I mean, Witcher, you're hunting like a bunch of like crazy wild.
But that's
beasts
not
type
like, but
things.
that's set in like a different realm. This is like modern day,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the United States kind of thing. So
Wow.
you aren't sitting in your, home, and then all of a sudden you've got to
Yeah.
go out and find a ghost, and then find a
For sure.
zombie and find a whatever. So that'd be interesting to see it
Yeah.
in that setting.
What do you got, Tone?
Next up is Wheels 105.
Shout out to you, Jake.
And he suggested a game where you are vegan. And he said that sounds pretty scary, which I might agree with. Then Connor the Carpenter chimed in, and he said a game where you're a vegetable running from the vegans.
I love it.
That's excellent.
I love
enjoyed
it.
that.
Adding that you could get different skill trees based on, what vegetable you choose.
And our cat is on the laptop. Is everything cool?
Yeah, it's fine, dude.
All right.
Cool. Moving on.
No, I like that idea, being a vegetable and running away. Blue, get the fuck off the laptop, please. Jesus Christ.
All right.
All right. The Nest page. Our
Wait,
homie.
no, it's my
No?
turn.
All right, sorry.
Don't skip me.
Oh, I actually skipped a whole different one, too.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna fuck this name up. Milan Jor?
Sure.
Sorry if I screwed that up. House of Leaves meets American Horror Story Asylum. House of Leaves, I don't know really what that is, and
So he explains.
I see the explanation, but just off the cuff. I don't know House of Leaves, but I do know American Horror Story, and I love American Horror Story. Especially Asylum is a good one. He says House of Leaves is a book about another book about a documentary about a family that moves into a house that constantly changes. In a nutshell, the book is a lot like The Ever-Changing House. And he says it's a good book.
You lost
So-
me at a book.
I'll check it out. I like books. But American Horror Story I could see being a good basis for a game. They have so many different seasons to go off of, and lots of
Yeah.
different lines and stuff like that. And I was actually, fun fact, I actually went to the Murder House where they shot the Murder House season. It's a beautiful building. It's in LA. But I like that, and I like the Asylum season. That was a good one. So I could see that, like the fact that you're in this mental institution but you shouldn't be, and like you need to escape kind of thing, would be a good basis for a game for sure.
Absolutely. I like that, too.
Now it's your turn.
All right. So the Nest page, good homie of ours, awesome listener. He says, I think a hybrid of Maniac Mansion would be great. It already encapsulated a lot of the cliche horror movies of its time, but a creepy house, a mad scientist, weird family, extraterrestrials, basement turned into a dungeon, and has all the pieces. I like it. I think, like, honestly, like, I don't know where my head's at right now, but like a lot of these games I'm like, let me see this in VR. You know, like I can see it in VR, and like you just being like entrapped in these houses and being like, this is what's happening, you know, this is what's going on. There's a mission over here from this mad scientist being like, go upstairs, go see what's going on in room 203, you know, or whatever. Like shit like that. I like it.
Right on. Red Bedroom Games says everything PT was supposed to be, but with the atmosphere of SH Downport. Something extra eerie about the rain that I love.
Sorry. Keep going.
That's it.
All right. So PT is what?
This is stretching my knowledge of horror games
Yeah, me
because
too.
SH is Silent Hill. PT.
I knew what Silent Hill was. It's not Parasite Eve.
No, that would be PE unless he mistyped. PT.
Is E next to T?
Nope.
Sort of close. So
Maybe.
there's an R in between. I don't know. Let's pass it.
Okay.
All right. So my dad writes the next one. Kelly, you can read it.
All right. From Dad McGinnis. Mining the tropes of All Hallows Eve, as originated by the 14th century Celts, would be my all-time favorite game. When the portal is between the living and the dead is at its most translucent, and the players are unsure of what side they are on and what world they actually inhabit at. Sam Hain pronounced Samhain. Oh, okay. Never mind. I didn't read ahead. It's a celebration of the harvest. Woo.
My dad's a poet. He writes a lot of articles for
I like that that idea though.
Yeah.
Like a portal between the living and the dead, and you're not sure where you fall, and you have to kind of figure out where you're at. And maybe
Yeah.
you do float between both and try to figure out where you land at the end. Maybe there's a couple different endings.
Maybe it's like a 2-world game where you actually have to, like, whatever you do in World 1 messes with World 2 in a positive or a negative way, you know?
Gotcha. Yeah, that'd be
I like that.
be
idea.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, can let you float between.
And yeah. And it's like sort of a puzzle in that sense, like where you have to go back to World 1 to get past this part in World 2, depending on what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Which I've seen in other games, just not in that like type of sense of going from portal to portal.
Cool.
Bucked Up on Retro says Silent Hill meets Psychonauts, which would be crazy because Psychonauts to me is what, like a 3D platformer.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have not played Psychonauts, but I think
3D
it's a platformer. Yeah.
And Silent Hill is just a very dreary, scary game.
So, yeah, and Psychonauts looks like bright and like
It's not bright. It's
not
still a
bright,
dark
but like
game,
but
yeah.
like brighter.
It's
I mean, as
cel-
in
it's
yes.
cel-shaded, colorful graphics, but still in like a dark realm.
I would be interesting to see a horror-based platformer like that,
Yeah,
like with the normal, basically like
I
a
would
normal
like that too,
platformer
actually. Yeah.
looking kind of dealio, and then you've got this horror story behind
Yeah.
it.
If you can't see anything past you in a platformer type game, because that's how Silent Hill is to me.
Yeah,
Where like everything's just so like in the fog.
just a lot of fog everywhere.
A lot of fog everywhere.
So just Psychonauts with
So
a
you
lot of
just-
fog.
You gotta trust where you're jumping, because you can't really
Ooh.
see where you're jumping half the time.
That would be
Yeah.
interesting.
I like that. Thank you, Bucked Up on Retro.
Definitely. Brian Thomas says
That's Thomas?
THX
I would say
would be O.
I'd
MAS.
be I was Brian, thanks, miss.
Or Brian TH Christmas.
Either way. Good guy.
Christmas. Sorry, Brian.
I just started.
All I want for Christmas is my teeth. Sorry. Go on.
Alright,
Go on, Tony.
go.
Brian suggested a game in an apocalyptic world where the sun is gone and it would be complete darkness, harshly cold weather, and only those who are suited can survive. It can be based on the near future, but where we could still generate electricity, and there would be underground farms where there could be sources of food. Unrealistic as it sounds, I think it's a cool idea.
I like that.
I could see that.
What if it's just like a Harvest Moon?
But underground and everything on the topsoil is dead.
Yeah.
Huh. So backtrack. Here we go. for anybody who's listening and has watched American Horror Story, not the current season, but the last season, when they basically, like, everything went to shit and it was nuclear war and then everybody went underground. You could have those underground layers that, like, they had this school down there basically for boys. But instead of that, like, have the whole complex down there. That would be interesting. I could see that. And then, like, if you had to go on the topsoil, you have to survive somehow. You have to have the equipment. You have to upgrade whatever you have, with what you have down there or what you find when you scavenge. Yeah.
I like it.
Be cool. It's me now.
Yeah.
V Pixels 86.
Our number one fan.
Shout out to
awesome.
you.
Yeah. Shout out to you, V.
She says it would be fun to have some sort of survival open world horror game where you and a group of friends start camping in the woods, and of course everything goes wrong and you become stranded. Of course. That's why you stay out of the forest. You have to learn to live off the environment, hunt for food, build shelter, weapons, etc. But then you are constantly being hunted by something and need to keep everyone alive. Either survive and get out of the woods if possible, or solve the mystery, finding clues, etc. of whatever is attacking, hunting you, and destroy it. Something super scary and Blair Witchy. So I think that's kind of cool. So it actually reminds me of, and I forgot to mention this earlier, is horror games that we've played. I've played the Dead by Daylight game. Have you ever played that?
No.
So essentially in Dead by Daylight, my friends are really into it. I've played it with them a couple times, but they're very into it. You are you either play as a killer or a survivor.
Okay.
And so it's a multiplayer game, and you and a group of a couple other people, I think it's like 4 people, and then there's a killer. So if you're a survivor, you're in this compound essentially where there's traps and there's places to hide and there's things like that. And you have to try to boot on a couple of generators to try to open the gate to escape this compound that the killer has. And the killer can change who it is. Like, you can change what survivor you want to be, or you can change what killer you want to be. Like, you pick the character. They have different abilities, etc. So, like, the survivors are just, like, people, and they have different perks. But then you have killers, which have different perks. And you have, like, Ghostface is in it. Like, Michael Myers is in it.
Ghostface killer.
Yeah. And then, like, they have some other ones they've, like, made themselves. And then there's, like, they just added Stranger Things to it, too.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what that made me think of as I was reading it. Like, you would have this campground, whatever, and you are being hunted by something like this. So it kind of feels like when you're being hunted by this killer on Dead by Daylight, and you have to, like, try to turn on the generators.
Yeah.
You have to build, you have to find the resources.
So when I read this comment by VPixels86, I initially thought of how I felt while playing Firewatch. How about you, Tony? Like,
yeah, I guess I could get that vibe, definitely.
Yeah,
I think
like
that
where,
might be
like,
a good way to do it.
like where something was like hunting you, even though there wasn't. You felt like there was someone out to get. So, Gamer Scrooge left us with a very long message. He's this old man gamer that hates gaming, essentially. Go follow him at gamer_Scrooge. But he writes, and I'll put it in his voice, I think. My men and I sat on Lagarek Talos Beach waiting for a transport ship when John Stacy wandered off into a dense area of trees. It was as if the soldier was being summoned. We didn't give a shit and let him leave. But after 20 minutes, we realized that John had our cigarette stash and the pictures of women. So I ordered 2 fine fellows to find him and retrieve the smokes and photographs. There's not much to do on Atoll except smoke and wank. You never know how long you'll be stuck there. The 2 men didn't return either. Just as I was going to take a look in the trees, a transport boat came and gathered us. Those men might be still in those trees. Can you make a game about that? The spooky trees of Lagarak Atoll. And I said, you sound like you have Alzheimer's disease, but sure, we can make it for you. And we'll give you a shout out for this long rant. And he says, he was like, I wish I had Alzheimer's so I would forget some things, but I'm on cannabis, so my brain is tip top. What's a shout out?
He's on some of that Thomas Jefferson Kush. Everything comes full circle here,
Oh, yeah,
precisely.
Gamer Scrooge. He does YouTube videos, so go check them out. Gamer Scrooge at YouTube. He's a
Interesting.
funny one.
Interesting for
Yes,
sure.
Yes.
And the last spooky game idea we got, my sister messaged me. My sister does not play video games very much. So shout out to you for even coming up with this.
Hell yeah.
But thank you, Hannah. She says, Oregon Trail, but you're vampires trying to get to Dracula's dope AF house party in his mansion. And will you survive crossing the garlic fields and wooden stakes and sunlight? Like IDK is her quote. So, I mean,
I like the idea.
Oregon Trail, and you're trying to survive, I guess. I think what you could do is like you're trying to survive some sort of spooky area, like a graveyard or a castle or something. You're trying to get out of it, but like formatted like the Oregon Trail. I could do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I want to know why there's garlic fields right before Dracula's castle.
She didn't say that they were before the castle. She
Well, they're on the way.
insinuated that it's
They're
on the way.
on the way.
so people were trying to keep Dracula in his castle then,
Oh,
because
yeah,
he
maybe.
can't leave,
Yeah,
and the wooden
maybe.
stakes, you know,
Maybe.
he can't
So if
leave.
you're
A
a
bunch of
vampire-
mirrors, sunlight, you know.
I mean, if I was a vampire, I don't care how cool Dracula is. I'd be like, dude, there's no way I'm crossing all these garlic fields and wooden stakes and
Dude,
silver bullets and all that.
There's no way I could become a vampire because I love garlic bread too much,
True.
and just garlic in general.
Yeah, I love garlic.
But anyway, shout out to you, sis. That was a
Yeah,
good one.
that was good. They were all good. Thank you guys for all your answers.
It's fun.
Yeah, this was the most comments we've ever gotten on a post, and maybe I should ask more comments on posts. But appreciate them all. So I hope you guys listen to them. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, this extra spectacular podcast. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your October. Please like and subscribe on any of the podcast services that you're listening to on this. Give us a good rating. And
V out.
the out.